ماك يا ربنا جئنا مساكينا.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Walaikum assalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Doctor, good evening.
Good evening.
How are you?
Welcome.
How is all?
Alhamdulillah. Sorry, I don't shake people during this corona.
No, it's okay. I came to discuss on this issue of this coronavirus. People are talking about it. So I don't know, is it reality? And if it is reality, what is this coronavirus?
Madam, coronavirus is a reality. It is in existence. It is a pandemic, which means it is a disease that has affected most parts of the world. It is a respiratory problem.
Okay.
That is breathing problem, just like the way people do cough and catarrh. It is like every other disease in the sense that it is caused by microorganisms. That is germs that we cannot see with our naked eyes. And it is peculiar. It is unlike other diseases because of the way it is spread between people. So really it exists.
Okay. So if it is a reality, what manifestations can I see on somebody to say this person is suffering from this coronavirus infection?
The commonest ways it presents include cough, difficulty in breathing, and fever. The fever is usually a very high fever, but there are also other things that it can present with, like one can have sore throat, painful or itchy throat, one can have body pains, one can have diarrhea, as well as other problems. But the first three are the commonest ways it presents.
You said it is peculiar in such a way that it is highly transmissible. So what are the ways through which it is being transmitted from one person to another?
The most important way by which it is transmitted is when an infected person breathes the virus out, either through cough or sneezing.
Okay.
But it can also be through other ways, maybe after yawning or after spitting. Once the virus gets onto a surface, then it can be transmitted to another person, especially the palms. The palms are the commonest surface by which the virus can be transmitted to another person. But it can also be on tables, door handles, window handles, carpets, floors, etc. The most importantly, it gets out of the infected person, drops on the surface, and then transmitted to the next person when that person touches that surface. But recently it has been found that it can also be transmitted through the air directly. When the infected person coughs or sneezes or breathes out the virus, once that social distance of at least 2 meters, now recently they say it's 4 meters, when that social distance is not maintained, one can be infected directly. So people should please take note.
I heard people saying that somebody who is not manifesting any sign can transmit the disease. Is this true, and how can this be possible?
Yes, initially, because the virus is a new virus, just came, that's why they are calling it novel virus, people have not really understood the way the virus behaves fully. Initially, people thought the virus can only be transmitted during the symptomatic phase, that's when one is sneezing or coughing. But now it has been found that even through breathing, so without being symptomatic, without having the fever, the cough, and the sneezing, once one is infected, one can transmit. And this is the most dangerous part, because one will not know that one has the virus until one shares amongst several other people. May Allah protect us.
Doctor, how can I prevent myself or other people from getting infected with this highly transmissible infection?
You see, my advice is that let's all come together to protect ourselves, because if I protect myself and you don't, or you protect yourself and I don't, then my not protecting myself can affect you. So the society should put all hands on deck to see that this spread of this virus is halted. Most importantly, people should please remain at home. People should not intermingle as usual. People should avoid public places, stay at home, only come out when it is extremely necessary. In areas where this virus, where the epidemic is existing, people should not go out of town, and people from somewhere should not enter. This is not my advice. This is not the advice of the WHO alone, but it was the advice of the Prophet ﷺ right from the beginning of Islam. The Prophet ﷺ mentioned that when there is a plague, when there is an epidemic, then those that are within should not go out, and those that are outside should not go in. This was the hadith that prevented when Umar ibn al-Khattab wanted to enter Bilad al-Sham when there was the epidemic of Amawaz. That was the hadith that he had that made him not to enter, but he returned. And then another very important thing for us to note is that the Prophet ﷺ mentioned in hadith reported by Sayyidatuna Aisha radiallahu anha that when there is an epidemic in a town, the one who remains in the town without going out, having patience and having hope or expectation, and then knowing well that nothing can afflict him except what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has already preordained for him, that person will attain the reward of a martyr. So you see the Prophet has emphasized staying at home right from the outset. Apart from this, other ways include the maintaining personal hygiene and especially hand hygiene. Hand washing is very important. Hand washing using soap and water or using sanitizer, especially the alcohol-containing swabs. They are very important in killing these germs. The Prophet ﷺ has emphasized this. We know the hadith reported by Muslim where the Prophet ﷺ said, "Al-tuhuru shatrul iman," that purity or cleanliness is half of faith. Also, we perform ablution, we wash our hands, that's the first thing we do, several times in a day. Upon waking up, Islam teaches us to wash our hands before we dip our hands into any vessel, our bath, etc. Islam has emphasized hand hygiene and other forms of hygiene before entering before eating food, after eating, after coming out from the convenience toilet, etc. Another very important thing is the cough etiquette, Malam. Let me not forget this, because you know the most important way, as we mentioned, is through breathing, especially when one sneezes or coughs. So the recommendation by the World Health Organization is that when one coughs, one should cough into the elbow like this, not the palms, please, or a cloth, that one should cover the mouth and nose while sneezing or coughing and then discard safely into a trash. This was also the teaching of Prophet ﷺ, coincidentally. We know in the hadith reported by Bukhari and Muslim, whenever he coughs, the Prophet ﷺ, he used to suppress, whenever he sneezes, not coughs, he used to suppress that with his hands or with a cloth. So that is the teaching of Islam, and that is the teaching of the World Health Organization. Other things that maybe people need to know is the use of the face mask. We all know face mask. When we use, let's not be touching the surface like this, because if the virus is on the surface, I will not breathe it in, but I can touch it with my hand and then take it into my body. Then people should avoid touching their eyes, their nose, their mouths, and other parts of the body that they can have direct access to the body. These are some of the candid advice I have for you on how we can prevent the spread of this virus.
Okay. Some government at federal and state level, they are taking this measure of quarantine and maybe lockdown. So I don't know, from the medical point of view or Islamically, what can you say on this?
Yes, I think the lockdown by the government, I think we need to give them credit for that. It is an excellent step. That is the most important step they should take in terms of preventing the spread of the virus. We have mentioned that the Prophet ﷺ recommended the lockdown from the two ahadith we mentioned earlier, and we all know that separating people, the best way to separate people from intermingling is through the lockdown. Also during the Amawaz epidemic in Bilad al-Sham, that was what Amr ibn al-As did after two governors before him died. That was what he did. He took people to the outskirts of the town and he stationed them on mountains, maintaining distance between them, and that was how the epidemic came to an end. This is time for us to do that. This is time for us to comply with the government, with the health personnel, with the advice of the WHO, and more importantly with the advice of the Prophet ﷺ, in order to halt the spread of this deadly virus. But let me not leave it like that. During lockdown, people may be afflicted by hunger and deprivation of other necessities of life. So those in authority, wealthy people, and whoever has the means to help should please reach out to those who do not have, especially in terms of food, medicines, and other necessities of life. For the poor also, for those who are the needy, you should try to utilize whatever they have. The little that you receive from the donors, please utilize it well. Do not be extravagant. وَكُلُوا وَاشْرَبُوا وَلَا تُسْرِفُوا إِنَّهُ لَا يُحِبُّ الْمُسْرِفِينَ. And then let's not take beyond our needs, because if you take beyond what you need, you deprive others of their own basic needs. I think this is my candid advice. Health personnel should continue doing their best, and they should try as much as they can to also protect themselves, their families, and their patients, because they can be another epicenter or focus for the spread of the virus. Like you can see that the way I placed my chair is so maintaining the social distancing. I'm happy that you came in with your mask, but I didn't see you rub your hands. Please don't feel offended. I have something for you to scrub your hands. Okay, take much, okay? Rub your hands.
Is it like this?
Good. Madam, I've been doing this. Most likely I've been touched by someone.
Oh, I have been thinking of doing it.
Okay, that's good. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. My name is Dr. Abu Bakr Sani Lugam. This message has been brought to you by the Rapid Response Team of the Islamic Medical Association of Nigeria, Iman. Thank you.
معك يا ربنا جئنا مساكين.